Hello! Long time no see. I have been very busy. I'm so sorry for my hiatus for the past however many months from YouTube. I've actually been busy moving into a new apartment, although I have to say the apartment itself is not new. It's only new to me, which is why I had to come in and completely transform my laundry. The laundry had like a patch of yellow where there must have been a dryer that just hadn't been painted. There was a metal cabinet with plastic wrap on it that was like picking and peeling off. There was paint that had dripped down onto the tiles, kind of like a Kylie Cosmetics vibe, but not cute. So I had to go around and scratch all that off with a little like screwdriver thingy and try not to chip or scratch the tiles, although even chipped or scratched tile would have looked better than those drips of paint, let me tell you. I also only had a very small budget. Like, I needed to do this makeover for as close to $0 as I could. I think in the end it was about $50 or something. I'll insert the actual number for the paint and like the tape and brushes and stuff, which isn't bad. I was pretty happy with it. If you want to see how I transformed my laundry from something bland and boring into a more exciting, more inviting space to do what is quite boring, the laundry, then stick around. Okay, welcome to the world's ugliest laundry. Today I am attempting my first solo DIY project. This is the laundry before. Lovely little patch of yellow there. They must have had a dryer or something. We've got taps for the washing machine, taps for the laundry sink, which are all ugly. Anyway, I feel like if I get this wrong, it can't really get much worse. We've got a really nice chipped metal cabinet there. Another ugly wall, and so this is the section that will be getting a makeover. This is the color I've chosen for the wall, so it's called New Penny, so it will be up there. This is what I've chosen for the metal cabinet. I had to buy like a special metal paint. This one's called Rundle Rust. So it will go on the cabinet. We'll see how we go. So I'm trying to do a nice sort of contrast. I didn't want to make the walls too dark, although I did think about it because I don't want to make the space seem smaller because it's obviously only a really tiny little section, but then I also wanted to have the darker one on the cabinet to sort of make it not pop because it's an ugly cabinet, but just to be like a cute little contrast with the bottom shade for the walls. All right, so to start with, I am going to wipe everything down that I'll be painting. Then I'll tape up the edges and tiles and anything that needs covering. Then I will do my coat 1 on the walls, then my coat 1 on the cabinet, let it dry, do my coat 2 on the walls, and then my coat 2 on the cabinet and see how that's looking, and then also see how much paint I have remaining. Okay, so equipment for today, I've got some disposable rubber gloves, I've got my Scotch blue tape to tape everything up. I've got a couple of different types of paint brushes, so I've got one to cut in and do around the corners, and then I have a bigger one for just general sections. We'll see if I actually use both of those. I've got a basic screwdriver set because obviously I need to actually open the paint tin. One is a screw top, but one is not, and then like reclose it, so I kind of have to hammer it down. I've got an old pillowcase which I'll use to put over the tiles just in case there's any unexpected drips, even though the washing machine's gonna go on the floor ones anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I've also got my paint, so I've got my metal paint for the cabinet in the darker shade, and then in the lighter shade I've got my wall paint. And then to clean off the metal paint, I have to use this special like Terps cleanup chemical thing. So I have to use that to clean up the metal one. But then for the wall paint, I can just wash it with water. I think I need to check the instructions because otherwise I guess it doesn't wash out of my brand new paintbrushes very well. All right, I'm going to wipe down the walls and then get started on taping up. Okay, I just went to wipe down the side of this cabinet and was like, God, they really got a lot of paint on this. And then saw this opening at the bottom and was like, why is it tearing off? Turns out there was this plastic stuck to it. So I'm just pulling that off and I'm going to have to go into the corner. It's kind of hard to see. And I don't know if I need like tweezers to pick off the bit there that's clearly like wrapped around the back and stuck to the wall. Please don't tell me if I wasn't meant to pull this off, but I definitely can't paint plastic. I have to be painting the metal, which I will be now. Anyway, it's random. I'm now using my awl to try and get rid of some of this plastic. So what they've done is basically wrapped this whole thing in plastic, put it together, and then installed it here, and only some of the plastic has been taken off, but it's really hard to get the rest of it because it's like inside. So I got off as much as I could, and now I'm just trying to hide the evidence. Oh, there's a little bit. Hide the evidence and yeah, see how it looks. I'm trying to chip off the paint from any of the tiles as well because it just looks crappy. Oh, got some. Look at that. That was actually not a bad effort without scratching these tiles because the tiles aren't in bad shape. They're just, you know, they've got paint on them so they look kind of crappy. It's going to be looking better for sure, even if I just scratched off the paint and didn't paint anything. Okay, wiping it down actually took quite a while, and because I had to pull off all of the plastic wrap that was randomly left on the metal cabinet, I also went around with a little screwdriver, and whenever there was a little bit of paint that had dropped down, I chipped that away very carefully so I didn't scratch the tiles. So I think it will be a much cleaner finish in the end because there were all little drips of like dry, gross paint there. And I did that for the bottom section as well. So we have a good foundation. Now I need to make sure I get all the taping right. It's going to be kind of tricky in this corner because I'm quite short and that is in the way and my ladder's only small, so we'll see how we go. But let's get to taping, which is, well, the second most important part. I'd say that all that prep was pretty important. Maybe taping is equal first. Okay, so I've taped everything up. It took absolutely ages. I tried my best to get all of the lines as straight as I could, but the wall is textured, like it's bumpy, so that was quite tricky. Also, I realized I can't do one coat of the wall and then one coat of the cabinet because the cabinet has to be taped up for me to do the wall. So I've taped up the rest of it, so hopefully it doesn't take as long, but this is what we're working with. I'm gonna start with this little square down here, just as a little practice section. Then I'll do the top, wait for it to dry, and do a second coat. Then I guess I'll have to wait overnight. I'm not even sure how long I have to wait for a first coat to dry. Anyway, Google's gonna help me in a minute. And yeah, then I'll do the cabinet and we'll move on to the next step. I don't have anything to stir it with, so we're shaking. Surely this is the same practice, right? Oh God, my arms. Oh my God. All right, let's open it up and see if I shook it enough. Oh, that is beautiful. I'm kind of nervous to put it on the wall. Oh God, okay. 3, 2, 1, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8, dig in, don't wait. Let's do it. I hope this is not a mistake. How does this even work? Just go for it. I have no idea how much to have on my brush. Okay, let's just do a test. Wow. It's kind of watery. Is it meant to be watery? Ugh. Okay. Committed now. I'll just do like 10 coats. It'll be fine. I've officially done it. I've painted my first little section of wall. Okay, first coat is on that little square. Next we got the big one. Hello. This ladder is unstable. Section is done. So now I need to wait. I'm not really sure how long. Google said 3 hours, but then I was reading something else that said wait sort of 6 hours. So I'm not quite sure how long to wait, but I will be waiting an amount of time and then applying the second coats. I also need to be conscious that when I paint the basin, it will also need time to dry before I apply the second coat. So I need to factor that in because I thought, well, I'll just wake up first thing and paint this. 6 hours later, I can tape it up and then paint that in the afternoon, but it needs to be done by tomorrow night. So all of the coats need to be done. So I need to figure it out. Anyway, I'll get there. All right, this is how it's looking after a few hours of drying. So now I'm gonna get started on the second coat. The second coats on the top and bottom sections are done. So apparently the trick is to take the tape off whilst it's still wet. So I'm going to attempt that now, and then tomorrow, because it is almost 11 p.m. at night, I am going to do the basin and the cabinet, which I can't really do anyway because it's kind of wet there. But apparently I also can't stick tape on that tomorrow because it might peel off the new paint. So I'm just gonna have to hold like cardboard there or something whilst I'm doing this little edge. But anyway, that's tomorrow's problem. Where is my cloth? It's looking pretty good, but there are some sections of the ceiling, kind of hard to see, where it's a little bumpy. So I've just found a little, I think it's an old makeup brush, and I'm going to use that to go across the top. I just went around it with a fine-tooth comb for over an hour. So I think it's looking pretty good. The ceiling's uneven, it's like bumpy, which is why some of the edges aren't super even, but I did get that little makeup brush out and try to do it by hand as best as I could. It was a little difficult, but this is where we're at. And then onto the basin tomorrow. She looks good, but she is stinky. My God. So this is how it's looking after about an hour and a half of painting. It was extremely messy. It's also super stinky, which makes sense because it has to stick to metal. So I'm gonna try and leave this for the whole day. My washing machine's coming tomorrow, so I need to have the second coat on tonight. But yeah, this is where I'm up to. I think I'm happy with that brown. We'll see when it dries and when I've got the second coat on. Just finished the second and final coat on the metal cabinet. It's looking better color-wise, but I have to say, like, I left it 11 hours between coats. It's kind of hard to see. I'm trying to get like the lighting right. There's like drips, and it is hard to see with this. Oh, there you go, you can see it there. Drips, and as I was painting over them, they sort of started deforming, like they just started cracking open a little bit, which I'm not sure if that means they were still slightly wet or not. I did touch it before I painted it and it was fine, but anyway, we'll see what it looks like tomorrow morning. So when I wake up tomorrow, it should have been about 10 hours, and then I will take the tape off and see what the finished product looks like. I've just taken the tape off and this is how it's looking. So it's not bad up there. I'd say this top section is like the section that came out the best. There was sort of only one drip section. There were lots more drips. Again, it's kind of hard to see. Lots more drips here, and around the door is probably, well, around the door handle is not perfect. So maybe later I try and just get there, or I'll just leave it. I don't know, we'll see. And then this is the side. So this is pre-washing machine. Okay, so I also just went around the door handle with my little handy, trusty makeup brush, just so I could get it a little bit neater. There's still some of that plastic wrap there, but I tried my best to get it all off. And then my washing machine came, which is great, but when it got installed, just a little chip went from the corner, so I patched that up as well. It is honestly so much better. Like, it even just feels better. All right, and this is the finished look. Let me know what you think, if you think it was worth the time, effort, and 70 bucks or whatever it was. I've been deliberating for a bit of time now about what to put up in this section. So I was thinking like artwork or maybe like a mirror or something. But yeah, still not sure. So this is just the finished plain wall and painted cabinet.